Welcome to another lovely episode of the Panty Nectar podcast. It is your host, Panty Nectar, as always, here, and we have a really good episode today. I know we teased it last time. We are going to be discussing armpits today. I kind of want to dive a little bit more into that, so we're going to have some sweat talk as well. So we'll get into all of that, but before we start the episode, I'd love to introduce my lovely husband and co-host, Mr. P.
Hello, Panty Nectar. How are you, my sweaty armpit lover over there?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing pretty good. I was going to start describing what you're wearing, but I don't want to steal your thunder for your segment. But
no,
it kind of shows off your armpits a little bit.
I actually really like when you kind of are involved in this little segment we have. So I like this. What are you wearing? Welcome to the next segment.
Yeah.
I am wearing, and I know we're live on OnlyFans and Discord right now. So if you guys are watching, you can see someone earlier made a comment about it. But I am wearing a white crop top, tank top. It's ribbed all the way up and down. So in my opinion, it's very flattering on my little boobs. And like Mr. P mentioned, it leads pretty good right from my armpits down. So yeah, super comfy. And I'm wearing my Lulu joggers. They're comfy. It's kind of cold today.
Yes. You look very sexy. I noticed that first thing when you came out, that white top you're wearing always catches my attention. You have a few different shirts that shirt in a few different colors. And that white one is just, it's not like see-through or anything, but it's very, I don't know, it defines you very well because it's
hugging.
It's very skin tight, I guess.
Yes, very hugging. If you saw the pictures of my white shorts the other day with my red top, that is the same. I have a lot of these just in different colors.
Panty Nectar, can I tell you something? I just love your little titties. I just think they're so perfect. They're so perfect.
I love
your nipples
them.
right there just are very, it's just very perky. Everything about your little titties are just so perfect.
Thank you.
And I know everybody appreciates that you show them off so much. So
I love it. I honestly, people always ask me like, oh, will you sell your bras? Because, I sell panties, but I'm like, I don't wear bras. Like I literally don't ever. I had one on the other day because I got my wisdom teeth removed. So I put clothes on for the dentist.
You don't want the dentist squeezing on your nipples.
Yeah. and so I wore a bra, and I think you even commented in the car because you went to grab my boob and you're like, oh, you're wearing a bra. You never wear a bra. Yeah. I think it's a very freeing feeling, and I have small boobs, so I can get away with a whole lot. So
we love your small boobies, Panty Nectar, and we also love your armpits. I know that so many people love your armpits and all the armpit subreddits, and you get a lot of attention for that.
Yes.
And I know people are very excited to talk about it today.
Yes. So, there's a couple different, I was actually doing a little bit of research into the armpit stuff, and I came across, I thought it was interesting because I guess armpits really aren't my thing.
Right.
I don't care if other people are into it. But it doesn't do anything for me.
Sure.
And so when I was researching, I guess I hadn't realized how many different aspects of the armpit fetish are actually involved in this equation. You have some people that like it for, like I said, the sweat aspect. Mm-hmm. They like the pheromones. They like the smell that comes from your armpit. That's a very not animalistic, but very I don't know, to me, that's just like basic raw stuff. So I can totally see that. And then someone actually on Instagram the other day was like, they were asking for pictures of my armpits, and they were like, I really like that your armpit leads down right to your breast. And now that's all I see every time I look. I'm like, oh, it is kind of sexy how it that shadowing comes down and then just curves your side boob, on the way out. I just think it's very, I never thought of how sexy that actually is,
Yeah, it definitely accentuates everything for your body. And there's this article on manmatters.com. It's titled Understanding the Psychology Behind Armpit Fetish, and it's written by Rohit Ganapathy. And in there, you were talking about the pheromones and about how, I used to think that the whole pheromone thing was bullshit, right? Like when I was younger,
Right.
I was just like, but I think that there's a lot to that actually. And obviously the science says there is. So right here, they're saying that it says, why do I have an armpit fetish? It says, it is natural to have a fetish for armpits because of the pheromones present in high quantities. The sweat present in the armpits has 16 types of pheromones, including a specific mood elevating and sexually arousing pheromone called, and I should have read androstenedione. There's a long ass name.
Yeah.
But so 16 different pheromones just in the armpits alone.
That's
so.
crazy.
Can you imagine like what that does to you subconsciously as someone is engaging in a sexual act right there next to those sweaty pits of yours, especially?
Yeah, I think we're on the topic of sweat. I love when my boobs, like if I'm having a really good workout and I'm sweating a lot, and maybe this sounds weird, but I know people know what I'm talking about. That like sweet sweat smell. Like it smells sweaty, but it's like it smells good. Does that make any sense?
Yeah, not like the nasty ass sweat where you haven't taken a shower for 5 days.
Yeah, where it's like BO. This is like a sweet smell. And I think that has a lot to do with like that stuff that you're talking about. I think there is certain things in there. And my sweat, that boob sweat smells so good.
100% the sweet sweat. And so back to the article, they're saying right here that the question is asked, how do men engage with the armpit fetish? And it says a man may engage with an armpit fetish in multiple ways. Some men engage by burying their face in the armpits and taking a deep sniff. That's written in the article. So some men engage by burying their faces in the armpits and taking a deep sniff, panty nectar.
Yeah. I bet a lot of people like the hairy aspect too. Like if their partner has hairy armpits.
Right.
Think that, and that probably has a lot to do with the sweat thing, but there's people that are into like hairy armpits too.
Oh.
Or hair in general.
Yeah.
Like even on your private parts, people ask me and I'm just like, I never like grow it out or anything. Right. But there are people that are into that. They like hairy stuff. I like hairy stuff.
Yeah. Yeah. It's I think that there's, a large percentage of people that are into the hair, especially the underarms for women, and like chicks that don't shave their legs too. There's a lot of guys out there that are into that whole natural vibe.
Probably because they sniff them all day long. They could just.
Probably so. It says, men find armpits arousing because of the following reasons: warmth and hair. For some men, to what you're talking to, for some men, it is the warmth and strong pheromones underneath an armpit that helps them get turned on. Masculinity and power.
That's what I'm saying.
For a few, armpit hair and sweat arousal factors because they associate them with masculinity and power. Sorry. For a few, armpit hair and sweat are arousal factors. Let me read that correctly. Because they associate them with masculinity and power. Yeah.
That's funny. Wild. That is wild. I think there is a whole lot to that we don't understand because, like I said, not really like animalistic type stuff, but I feel like, beings at their core, it just comes down to stuff like that, So, like, do you have an armpit fetish at all? I don't think I do. I like smelling my own sweat when it smells sweet. Sweet sweat. It sounds so funny, but I'm telling you, like, some people know. I know some of y'all know what I'm talking about. Yeah. When you, especially females, like, it's not, and maybe it's because I eat healthier, so it smells different. But like, I don't know. I just feel like when you get that good sweet, I love smelling that. Or your panties get it too. Yeah. I love that smell. Interestingly, this article says that smooth armpits are generally not on the interest list of men. So it's saying that, like, generally, just most men aren't into smooth armpits. So that's not where they would. That's a domesticated woman. Right? We don't want that shit.
We want that chick from the fucking
With a
Amazon.
wild chick.
Yeah, straight out of West Virginia, out of the Appalachians mountains over there.
That's funny. Yeah, I think that's an interesting. Armpits don't do anything for me though. No armpit fetish.
Yeah, it's interesting. I wonder what, like if more men are into it than women. Of course, like that's the case, right? But like what percentage, and if it's a higher ratio of like other fetishes.
I'd like to know what percent of women like men that shave their legs and arms and stuff like that. Do you think it's pretty high?
Well, I think that there's quite a few, but I think it probably goes into maybe not so much like the look necessarily, but probably like you're talking about like the more like the power dynamic.
Yeah. Isn't that crazy how all those different things can exist in the same like dynamic? That's why we always say like none of this stuff is black and white at all, because there's so many different things about it that make it so unique to that situation. Yeah,
of course. And that's one of the things that we've learned, is that like there is no right or wrong, and it's like everybody's into their own thing. And so like literally everybody has their own little recipe that makes them unique in that way, and in every way really. And so who are we to, so then you have to ask yourself, well, what's normal? Well, I don't know. If everyone's different, how can we decide what normal is, you know? So and that's why we just decided, hey, we're not going to judge anybody, and we ask everybody to do the same. That's kind of one of the things that I do ask people to do. We don't ask a lot of anybody, but don't judge anyone else or necessarily yourself for that matter too. And not judging yourself will help in a big way.
Your thoughts, that was actually a topic of discussion recently in the Discord, was, your thoughts are, and I like, people don't even understand how like extreme I am about that. Your thoughts, they change everything. What 100%. You think about changes things in your body, changes things in your everything. So, it's not easy, but you have to stay in that higher power. You have to stay in that higher mindset, because it's easy to feel the opposite way,
Yeah, that's why we just want people to feel good.
Yeah.
That's why we decided to talk about sex, right? It's like, like we're not really, we were just talking about this yesterday. Like, we're not really experts in anything, Panty Nectar, but you know what? Like, we know how to have sex. Like
we're experts in us.
And us, exactly, the way we like to have sex. And I was telling you that, like, people reach out to us thinking that we're sex experts or something like that. And it's like, I'm not. I've never claimed to be. I like to have sex, and I like to have a lot of sex, and dirty, kinky sex, and the way that I see it, right? It's just like your own perception of this. And so, but like all these, there's so many more people out there with much more like knowledge and, a science-based approach to discussing these manners. And I am not that person, I like to talk about the dirty, kinky side and like busting big loads and stuff like that.
The stuff that's just authentic. That's us. We don't have to,
And fortunately for us, there is a huge community of people out there with us that have decided that they like to do the same. As a matter of fact, Panty Nectar, this podcast we learned over this past week is actually on the Apple and Spotify charts.
Yes.
As we're talking right now, it's number 33 on Spotify Health and Fitness. So it's great to be on Spotify and to see our podcast there. And thank you guys so much.
Yes.
And Apple and everywhere else everyone listens, and it's just amazing.
Yeah, this when Panty Nectar does interact with people and does have all these things, it's all coming from a genuine place. And that's all we want, is for everyone to be happy and thrive and to live their best lives. And it's pretty cool. Just yesterday, I think it was, we had someone that had messaged me on Reddit. at the very beginning. So this was 2 years ago. I had just started this, and I specifically remember his message because he was the first guy that didn't like list off like, oh, 30, big white cock, this, that.
Right.
It was a genuine like, hey, you guys seem cool. This is a little bit about me, and maybe, no expectations. I don't know. It was just a nicer message. And I remember it because it was one of the first ones that I had received. Well, he had reached back out to me on Reddit yesterday, and like, after his conversation with me, he was real honest about what he wanted and real honest with himself. And like, now he's engaged.
Yeah.
He has a fiance now, and he's super happy, and they're doing all these amazing things. So it's pretty cool, to just think that Painting Nectar has that kind of impact because you guys listen and you make it right there for everyone to see. It's
Right.
not us, it's you guys.
Right.
And so that's just really cool. It was a cool feeling to be able to be like, man, that's cool. Like that guy was like, I'm going to go after what I want. And now he's super happy.
Living the dream as he sees it, with a very beautiful fiance.
Yeah.
And they're just having a great time. And it's
With
funny.
their dog.
And it's funny to see, 2 years later that he's reaching out. And it's because you showed me that message yesterday, and it was, he's said something along the lines of, like, I understand, like, your growth and popularity. You may not respond to this or something along those lines. And it's like, oh, no, we respond to everything that people send out,
Yeah. And just so you know, Painting Nectar remembers everything.
Yes.
That's not just in this business stuff. Like I have, I just remember everything. So it does stick out. Things stick out. That's why it's always important when you are reaching out to someone to just be, authentic, just relax,
Yeah. Yeah. And speaking of platforms, talking about Reddit, you recently became active on TikTok.
Yes.
At PN Podcast.
Yes.
So what do you have going on there on TikTok?
I'm, just breaking up clips to share with you guys of the podcast, fun stuff. We're going to do different stuff. So I don't know. I think that's going to grow into something really cool, but
Change the game a little bit. Something more unique. Every platform has a different way to interact and something to offer.
Yes.
And a different community approach with everybody, on these different platforms. And, so follow Painting Nectar there on TikTok at PN Podcast. And what else you got going on, Painting Nectar? Anything in the world of Painting Nectar that we should know about?
There's so many things going on in the world of Painting Nectar. I'm like a million things pop in my head. No.
So let's do that. Like you were talking about that, mentioned it to me earlier. Like let's talk about the list off your social media platforms of just what you're on. So Snapchat. And what's your Snapchat?
PN Podcast.
Okay. Then Reddit, /Painting Nectar.
Instagram, Painting Nectar IG. Twitter, Painting Nectar 9. OnlyFans, .com/Painting Nectar.
Right. The Discord.
Painting Nectar server.
Which you can find that on the paintingnectar.com. Of course, paintingnectar.com.
Oh my gosh, paintingnectar.com.
All of it, yeah. So you can find the link to the Discord at paintingnectar.com. It's up there at the top right.
Yeah, I've had a lot of questions recently. A lot of people see my pee videos on Reddit.
I love your pee videos. One, because I love them, and two, it gets people so riled up one way or the other. Either people love it, right? Or everybody has a strong opinion.
I like doing them. They're fun to do, especially outside. But people always hop over to OnlyFans asking for those videos, and I want to let you guys know those are available on Discord. I don't think a lot of people know, but OnlyFans actually restricts pee content. They restrict quite a bit of what I can do there. They have terms of service, and they've got to follow along to check the box, and we understand that. And what I've done is created a place over on Discord. My premium members have access to all the premium channels where I can actually share my, Mr. P and I are kind of kinky. So that's where we're able to share a lot of stuff. So if you're looking for pee videos, I want to save you some hassle, and they are over on Discord in the premium section.
Yeah. And, I was thinking about that, like, we've kind of like adjusted our sex life to kind of things that like OnlyFans allows, and like got away from some of the more kinkier things that we like.
That's so true.
Like,
right?
you know, like there's some real kinky stuff. And so like, I'm very excited to be getting back into those things and be post them on the Discord there.
Yeah.
And but it's going to be, or it already is, you already got it going. So it's a lot of fun to be posting in there in the Discord premium sections with the, and also, you have so much pregnancy content.
I know
that you'll be uploading there. We'll be uploading there, and just so much going on in the Discord. It's gaining more and more members every day. So we'd love to have you join us there. I think right now there's about 14,000 people or so. So you can find that Discord invite in the Reddit bio, or also at pantynectar.com.
Yes, as always.
Yeah. So Panty Nectar, I don't have anything for you, my dear.
I am actually going to put some ice on these wisdom teeth. If you are a member of any of my platforms, you probably saw recently I got my wisdom teeth removed.
Yes.
And they are hot right now. But
and I know we have a couple live stream going. So, and you mind, I know you were showing your armpits earlier when you were talking, but I think before you should just give them a good armpit show.
Oh, did you see me going to lift up my shirt? I'm like, what do y'all want?
Like
armpits.
Yes, so sexy. Panty Nectar is raising her hands to the sky saying she's number one or something like that. But her armpits are so sexy.
I have been working on my tan too recently. So you see how I love just being tan, because I think it just shadows you better in certain places. And
you got a haircut recently too. I don't know if people have seen, probably within the past 2 weeks, I guess. And your hair's a lot shorter.
Yes, I cut it all off. I love my hair right above my shoulders. I like it kind of just being, I like it when it grows out, and it's great, but I just feel like this haircut is just my vibe.
Yeah,
like I feel like it's my energy, it's my vibe. I love it super platinum blonde.
Yeah.
It's just a thing. I don't know.
Like grabbing it when I go to like grab your hair.
Yeah, there's still enough. That's what some people, when I asked like if they preferred long hair or short hair, they were like, no, enough to grab. I'm like, y'all can still grab my hair. There's plenty of hair to grab still.
Yeah, it's like boobs.
I have a lot. My hair is actually very, very, very thick. So there is plenty to grab.
Well, you look beautiful as always, Panty Nectar. And thank you so much for having me on the Panty Nectar podcast and the whole community here. It's great to be with all of you. Thank you so much.
Thank you for joining us, and thank you Discord premium members and the live OnlyFans for joining us as well and spending some of your Monday with me in your car, at your desk, or in your home. It is appreciated. Until next time.
See ya.